What's up, everyone? Just getting ready for the new year, checking in and see how people are doing. Kind of testing out my new system, so we'll see who shows up here, see if things are working better. This is a test, folks, just a test. But if you have any weight loss questions, feel free to ask them as well. We'll get to those. People think about weight loss? Yeah, we're going to wait another day or two, right? Even me, all I do is think about weight loss all year long. And even me, taking a break. Oops. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone had a nice Christmas season, nice holidays. Okay, no people in here. But this is mostly to see. I'm testing out some streaming stuff. We'll see if I fixed it. There was some issues with the audio and the video syncing up and all the rest of it. So before we get in the new year, it's my pre-24 resolution. And here I am doing it. But yeah, how's everyone doing? I don't know. What am I doing? I'm working on a training. So again, like I always say, if you're not on my email list, get on there because I'm doing trainings next week, helping you get focused, helping you get motivated, helping you get the body you want in 2024. That's what I'm working on. And specifically, I'm putting together a new training. How to become thin and healthy in 2024. Everyone's holidays have been. I know for me, I'm ready. I'm ready for the new year. I've been a madman with the eating during the holidays. Let's see here. I also got a light behind me. I don't know if you can tell that. Got a little light. Can you see? Watch this. Can you see that? The old change in light colors. All sorts of new things for you in the new year. There we go. I think I like the purple the most. But yeah, how to become thin and healthy in 2024. Will 2024 be any different than 2023? I'm a huge fan of this period of time because I will tell you the week between Christmas and New Year's is a magical week because it's like this weird kind of suspended reality, you know? And I think it's really good to reflect, you know? That's what in the program, we've been focusing a lot on reflection over the last year because you learn a lot depending on how you look at things, how you frame things. And we tend to just kind of go day to day, right? We're just kind of going through our day, just surviving, right? Just kind of moving through our lives. And so sometimes we're going to pop out of our normal perspective and kind of look at it from a different angle, right? And so this week is special, I think, right before the new year hits. I'm telling you, it's like, it really is. There's a sense of hope, right? You know, one year is kind of closing out, another one's going to start. You know, you're kind of in vacation mode a bit, and it makes it the perfect time to kind of reflect on the year and start looking at your weight on a yearly basis, right? Because where were you last year at this time? Where'd you want to be? And where'd you get to? And if you're like most people, you had intended to lose weight over 2023, here you are. The beginning of 2024, nothing changed, you know? And if that's the case, so what do you learn from that? You know, that's the secret. I think the first thing you learn is where you zoom back even more and you zoom back decades and realize, geez, you know, every time I try and lose weight, I try and diet. I just start whatever diet the thing's going to be. Someone tells me what to do. I try and get myself to do it. I do it for a little while and then I stop. Right? It's the story. That's the story. Repeating over and over and over and over and over again. You start a plan, you do it for a little bit, you stop doing the plan. And it's been decades and decades of that. And you're now at the point, because of doing that for decades and decades, you don't even believe it. You don't believe you can lose weight. And you don't believe it because you don't really have a plan. You know, you just got this diet that you're supposed to just, okay, well, so what's it going to be this week? And then here's a funny thing, right? Because Monday is the first day of the year, but Monday is also New Year's Day, so it's a vacation. And so really what you got to do is start preparing yourself to get started on Tuesday. You know, so not the first, but the second. And so there's little subtle psychological things every year that support us and are challenges to us. But this year, I would say almost guaranteed, if you're thinking about losing weight in 2024, get specific about when you're going to start, because you may or may not start on Monday. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe people I don't know where people are at with the weight these days. Sometimes you get apathetic. That's the biggest thing I'm always working to help people through, is to stop being so apathetic. And it's hard. It's hard if you think the only way to lose weight is to diet, right? Because you've tried all the diets and they never work. It's always the same problem, that you end up not knowing how to stay at that weight, So losing the weight's hard enough, but in reality, it's easier to lose the weight than it is to maintain it, because what most people do is they trade the pleasure of the food for the pleasure of the scale going down. And so when the scale stops going down, right, it's hard to stay motivated. But yeah, I don't know. It's a funny time even now. Like no one in the world is starting their weight loss plan today. Rebecca says, I've done the 3-day water fast twice. I get so hungry by the end, seem to make up for. Yeah, exactly, Rebecca. I mean, that's the classic move. That's a classic dieter move in general, and it shows up in lots of different ways, but that's a common one, right? You do the 3-day fast. Why? You know what I mean? Why artificially limit your calories for 3 days? What is the point of that? I get it. I know what it is. It's a mindset of someone who's so desperate that you just want to see any results at all. And of course, 3 days really doesn't matter one way or the other, but 3 days of eating nothing, you'll lose some weight and then you'll put it right back on. So don't learn from it though. Please just don't do it again, But people do this all the time. The dieter mindset, this shows up a lot daily. What people try and do is, that's one of the most common things I hear. Someone say, well, everything's going great. Breakfast and lunch is great. Dinner and the evening, everything falls apart. I don't know what's going on. So what are you eating for breakfast and lunch? Nothing. Okay. Well, so what do you expect to do the rest of the day? You can't just starve yourself. So I get it, Rebecca. I understand people get desperate and do desperate things, but yeah, water fasts are desperate. And what's the point? Again, it's the ultimate expression of a dieter mindset, because you're so fixated on the short-term results and you're not thinking about the long-term results at all. And that's how people get to water fasting, because you're so desperate to see any results that you'll do anything. But of course, water fasting obviously is a short-term. I'm not even going to say it's a solution. It's a short-term way to make your weight go down for a couple days, And so what's the point of that? No one ever thinks on the other side, right? So you put 3 days of misery and hard work and headaches and tiredness and frustration of water fasting. And then at the end of it, you eat extra and you go back to your original weight. So you know what that's called in my world? Wasted effort. And to be honest, that's what everyone's doing with their weight loss. Your goal is just to lose the weight. That's what you think. Imagine this. Imagine as much as you think about weight loss. So I find this really interesting. I know you think about weight loss all the time, constantly, for decades, for most of your life. All you do is think about losing weight, right? But imagine if all you do is think about weight loss and you're a smart and intelligent person. And imagine I sit here and tell you, not only do you not know how to lose weight, but you don't even know what the right goal is. You don't even have the right goal. What do I mean? I mean, you don't even want to lose weight. Losing weight is not the goal. Yes, it is, Jim. I want to lose the weight. Well, and then you want to put it back on? Well, no, of course not. Okay, so then the goal is not weight loss. You've lost weight, and then you put it back on. Are you happy you lost the weight? Or are you mad that you put it back on? Okay, so losing the weight is not the goal. The real goal is to get to your goal weight and live there the rest of your life on near autopilot. You've got to upgrade your goal. You've got to make your goal actually accurate for what you want, because you have achieved your goal of losing weight multiple times in your life, and it's not the real goal. So stop saying that that's the goal. Do you understand? Because if you think the goal is losing weight, then the only thing you think about is just what do I need to do to lose the weight? But that's not the goal. The goal is that you want to stay at that weight for the rest of your life. And you want it to be easy. You want it to be like, this is just how I am. This is how I eat, I live, how I think, how I feel. I'm a thin and healthy person. Do you understand? It's just like there's more to it. And once you start realizing that, it becomes a lot easier, because your goals are all fucked up. I mean, for real, like your goals, it's not your fault. Okay. I want to make that clear. It's, what's going on is that you've been conditioned by the diet industry, to think like a dieter. And so all you do is you're obsessed with fast weight loss results. And ironically, that obsession with fast weight loss results in how you done this year with your weight. I would suggest that part of the explanation for the results you've gotten, if you haven't gotten any results or you're not happy with where you're at this year, is that you're fixated and focused on short-term results. And if all you care about is short-term results, you'll do extreme things like keto, like intermittent fasting, depending on how you're doing it, like water fasting, like 1,200 calories a day, like no sugar, all of these things, So again, I guess what I'm trying to say ultimately is that the main thing controlling your weight is your mindset. I mean, technically it's the calories coming in your body, right? But what's controlling the calories coming in your body? You better believe it's your mindset, right? It's not just the knowledge of knowing what you shouldn't eat. If you're walking through your life eating shit you shouldn't eat, and yet here you go doing it, right? And it's because you don't have the proper mindset. Someone says, I eliminated drama around food. I gained a bit of weight, but much more calm and better mental health. That's great. Yeah. I think that's wonderful because now you're more calm and relaxed. And now if you go back to the weight and you want to lower it, if you want to, being calm and relaxed and having better mental health, now you're in a much better position to take on your weight and to master it. It's a great job. Me personally, I think pretty much all, I just invited someone. Me personally, I think all weight issues come down to emotional eating anyways, but one of your videos popped up on my feed while I was food shopping, stopped me from buying junk. That's awesome. I'm glad about that. You're welcome. That's so awesome. That's going right along. I got a book working on that should be out in another month or so. It's pretty exciting, but it's all about that, all about the food decisions we make. And so, yeah, my video pops up, right? When you're in that moment, right? You're getting ready to make a food decision. Should I get that food? Should I not? Because that's the important thing, right? We tend to think like, I got to stop myself from eating it. No. Because by the time the food's like right in front of you, to stop yourself then is very difficult. Okay. So we need to go earlier in the process, which is when we're deciding when we're going to buy it, when we're going to order it, what we're going to eat. That precedes the actual, like, it's right there, we're eating it. Do you understand? So there's what we're eating, but what happened before that created that eating moment is the food decision you made. And that usually happens, 10 seconds to 10 hours earlier. You're always pre-deciding what you're going to eat. Does that make sense? This is what Program Yourself Thin. This is the core of the Program Yourself Thin system, is that you are running on autopilot and you have already you're pre-programmed. You have the subconscious programming of an overweight person. And so all of your natural thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that you just kind of do automatically are those of someone who's overweight. And so what you do to try and lose weight is you try to consciously fight against all that programming. And you never win because the programming just runs on autopilot. And the conscious willpower takes lots of energy. And so what ends up happening is you can control yourself for a little while, and then eventually that fades away. And what do? You go back to your automatic programming. And that's what you always go back to. So that's what you got to change. You got to change your subconscious programming. You need to install the subconscious programming of a thin and healthy person. If you want to be a thin and healthy person, you can't have the subconscious programming of an overweight person and live as a thin person long term. You can force yourself and fight against yourself for a little while, but you will always revert back to your subconscious programming. At least you got an explanation. You say, oh, where do I go from there? Well, go to my bio, click the link and listen to the hypnosis session I give you, watch the training I give you to understand this. Because what I'm trying to say is decades and decades you've been thinking about your weight and you don't have the first fucking clue how to change it. Like literally, right? All you know about weight loss is kind of like learning what you should and shouldn't eat, how you should and shouldn't exercise. You never learn how to change your mindset. You never learn how to change how you think, how you feel, how you behave. You got one tool, willpower, and it ain't working, but there's other ways out there, man. That's the problem with the dieting mindset is you're just like, the only way to do it's diet. You can't separate dieting from weight loss, right? They're just weight loss. Now I got to diet, or now I'll take medicine or get surgery. No one's thinking like, oh, how about you shift your mindset? So that mean, Lovin says, I was honestly planning to get some takeout, but forced myself to go home and cook the fresh food. That's great. Now, once you cook the fresh food, remember when you cook the good food, notice how good it feels. Okay. There's 3 key phases of eating. There's anticipation, consumption, and consequence. Okay. And these 3 stages exist for healthy food and unhealthy food. Now, here's the thing. There's always these 3 phases, but we have been conditioned in this society by the food companies to focus on the anticipation and consumption of the food. That's primarily how we think about it. So we think, oh, should I get some ice cream? And then we think about the ice cream. Subconsciously, what we're doing is we're imagining getting the ice cream and then having in front of us, eating the ice cream. That's it. Movie ends. And that cranks up the craving for it. But if you allow your mind to say, how will I feel 5 minutes after I finish eating that? How will I feel physically, mentally, emotionally after I finish eating it? Well, how do you feel after you eat the shit? After you eat the cookies, the ice cream, the pizza, the bread, all the rest of it, right? Start noticing. I feel deflated. I feel frustrated. I feel full. I feel it's harder to breathe. I feel tired. I feel annoyed with myself. I feel guilty. I feel ashamed. I feel frustrated that I'm still not changing what I want to change here. Okay? That's a real consequence. You're not bullshitting yourself. You've just been conditioned to ignore that part. But as you start conditioning yourself to focus on it, what starts happening, you say, oh, I want to have some ice cream. And you think, yeah, it tastes good. However, how will I feel 5 minutes after I finish it? Well, I'll feel kind of phlegmy. I'll feel kind of full, feel fatigued. I don't really like that feeling. Nah, I'm good. Because when we focus on the consequence, the craving goes down. And so you don't need willpower to fight against an increased craving. The craving goes down and you feel more indifferent about it and you let it go. That's how a thin, healthy person thinks about it. And you can train that. You can train yourself to do that. It's very easy. But it's totally different than what you're doing, because what you're doing is you're cranking. You don't realize how you're doing it, but subconsciously you're cranking up the cravings for the foods that you're struggling with. And then you're trying to stop yourself from getting them. But you don't realize what you're doing to create the craving. And once you do, it's a lot easier to stop doing that process than it is to try and have some willpower that's always going to fight against your cravings. Hope it makes sense. But that works the opposite side too. So you said no to the shit, no takeout. I'm going to cook something healthy. Now eat that. And now 5 minutes after you're done eating that, I want you to notice what's the consequence physically, mentally, emotionally of the healthy decision. Because just like the other one's kind of negative, when you get the good food, that's where all the benefit is. It doesn't taste as good. The anticipation and consumption parts aren't as good. Unhealthy food's more exciting. It's more fun to look forward to it, to get it, and to eat it. So it wins on those first 2 parts. However, the consequence is the biggest phase. We live, our lives are the consequence, And so when you do the healthy thing, really notice what the consequence of that is. How do you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally when you make the healthy choice? Yeah, physically you feel lighter, more energized. Maybe you feel the same, whatever. Mentally and emotionally, you feel completely different. Holy shit, look at me. I made a good decision. I'm proud of myself. Wow, nice job. That wasn't so hard. I could do that. That was kind of easy. I feel good about myself. I feel hopeful. I feel excited. I feel proud. All these wonderful feelings, you see? And they're right there for you. And that's what, again, I always say like this, really, you can't make your weight loss about weight loss, ironically. Weight loss in and of itself as the main goal is a shitty goal. It really is. It's a very limited goal. And so what we want to do is we want to have a bigger motivator than just the scale going down. Okay. We want that. That's a motivator. We'll use it. But the bigger motivator is that you're going to be the person you want to be. Who's the best version of you? And I'm not just talking about how you look. I'm talking about how you feel, how you behave, what you achieve in life, your relationships, your finances, what anything's important to you. What's the best version of you in your life? One aspect of that's your weight, but there's way more. There's lots of more meaning and context to that goal. And so it's more motivating and inspiring. And so that's what this process is all about, is not just eating healthy so that we lose weight. It's eating healthy so that we can be more alive, so that we can be the best version of ourselves, so we can live the life we want to live, achieve all the things we want to achieve that matter to us. That's the meaning you want to give this process, and it makes it easier. So hope that helps you. Divine says, I'm new here. No wonder I'm a yo-yo. Yeah, don't feel bad. I mean, everyone, you're all yo-yos. I mean, it's not, it's completely, that's what you'd expect, you know, the way you're approaching it. Because again, like even the dieting thing, even the way, like a dieter mindset, the outer frame of a dieter mindset is that you're thinking about weight loss as a temporary thing subconsciously. You think of dieting and weight loss as, I will diet until I lose the weight. It's in your languaging if you listen for the words. You are coding weight loss as a temporary thing. I'm going to do this extreme difficult thing until I lose the weight. Because I was this, what are you going to do once you lose the weight? I'll figure it out. Well, statistics say, no, you won't figure it out. Right? 82 to 95% of people put the weight back on. Have you figured it out when you've lost the weight? Right? So losing weight and maintaining it are two completely different things. And you're never focusing on that piece. At best, you say, I'll figure it out once I lose the weight. And you don't. And so thinking like a dieter is thinking like it's a temporary thing. That's literally subconsciously how it's programmed. So this is why you need to upgrade your goal from I want to lose weight to I want to return to my goal weight and I want to live the rest of my life at my goal weight on near autopilot. That's what I want, because that's a completely different goal that's set up way longer term, right? Because again, the weight loss is just a phase. Don't you get that? The weight loss is going to take you a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years, and then you're done. Then we get to the goal weight. And now the real journey begins. The goal weight is not the finish line. The goal weight's the starting line for you. You see? So we can't do extreme, unsustainable things to lose weight because that is just a temporary fix. It's a Band-Aid. So we need to focus on how can you master. You want to master your weight. That's what you're aiming at. This is the path of mastery because you want to be thin and healthy. And what I mean by thin, by the way, is you weighing exactly what you want to weigh. So it's up to you to decide. It doesn't have to be normal BMI range even. You know, it can be overweight range, whatever weight gives you the best quality of life. What's that weight you want to live? It's your personal decision. You get to choose it. And being at that weight, in my opinion, in my world, makes you thin. Thin is just living at your goal weight. And your goal weight is the weight that you choose. It gives you the best quality of life. Okay? And so how long do you want to live at your goal weight for? Right? I hear you saying forever. But every time you approach your weight, it's always with this temporary mindset. And so you wonder why you keep yo-yoing. You wonder why you can't get to the goal weight and stay there. It's because right now you've got one primary mindset, which is your overweight mindset, right? If you're not thinking about food and whatever, you're not like intensely trying to change how you're behaving and you're just living your life, you're just overweight, right? Because what you do, what you eat, these things here, they just keep you overweight. And sometimes you get pissed at it and you say, I got to change this. Now here comes the dieter mindset. And the dieter mindset basically just fights against the overweight mindset. Okay. And so best case scenario is you diet mindset yourself right down to your goal weight. But the same problem still exists here. You've got an overweight mindset and a diet mindset. And you can't diet forever. And you don't want to go back to being an overweight person. But what do you end up doing? You go back to being an overweight person. Why? Because you never learn how to be a thin, healthy person. You never learn to think like a thin and healthy person. That's not even on your radar. So how are you going to be a thin, healthy person? Because that's the biggest thing I learned. Program Yourself Thin is built on the shoulders of people that lost weight and kept it off for at least 2 years. And what I quickly, instantaneously found out within speaking to the first few people, I quickly realized the biggest difference was their mindset. These thin, healthy people thought completely differently about food, about exercising, about themselves, about their lifestyle, about their health than people who are struggling with their weight. Completely different. So you think, it's like Einstein said this, I'm murder a little bit, but that basically the level of thinking that created the problem cannot solve the problem. You need to elevate your thinking to that of a thin, healthy person if you want to live as a thin, healthy person. In what other world could you live as a thin, healthy person if you don't know how to think that way? And the only thing you got is I'll just fight against myself forever. I'll forever fight against myself. How's that working out for you? Because if you think fighting against yourself is the way, how's it going? How much weight you lose this year? How's the fighting against yourself working? How right? It ain't working, right? It's not working for you, and it's not gonna work for you. It doesn't work. You can't fight against yourself. So that's what I think. Renee, when I start a diet, I get scared thinking about the changes and I start overthinking. Yeah, of course. Dieters definitely get, you overwhelm yourself. Well, you don't understand because you don't understand even the basics of your mind, but you have a conscious and a subconscious mind. The conscious part of your mind is your prefrontal cortex. It's the newest part evolutionarily. And it's the part that does your strategic thinking, executive functioning. It's where your willpower is, where you plan things. You know what you should and shouldn't eat, why you should lose weight. All those things are in your prefrontal cortex. But then you have a subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind runs all of your habitual thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. So again, you have a lot of conceptual knowledge of what you should and shouldn't eat, what you should and shouldn't do, but you have very little behavioral knowledge of how to actually live that way. And you keep focusing on the conceptual knowledge. Okay. To put it in a different perspective, it's kind of like you have all the conceptual knowledge of how to write with your hand that you would ever need, but you only have the behavioral knowledge for one hand. You can only write with one hand. Right. So to fix that, you don't have to go read a book about how to write with my left hand. That's not going to help you get the behavioral knowledge. What's going to give you the behavioral knowledge is you just have to practice. And the idea of practicing being a thin and healthy person almost doesn't even mean anything to you. Doesn't even exist in your paradigm of weight loss, which is, I'm being a little obnoxious, I guess, a little aggressive, but the point is this all comes from love. I want you to know that. Because I know that you're sitting there when it comes to your weight and you feel you're down on yourself, you're mad at yourself, you're apathetic, you don't feel like it's ever going to change, you don't know what to do. If you know what to do, you can't get yourself to do it, you don't know how to get yourself to do it. And I know you're sitting there feeling that way. And I know those feelings increase. Sometimes they get overshadowed by this false hope syndrome that strikes January 1st. Again, I'm not trying to be obnoxious. What I'm trying to do is point out that what you're doing is not working. And I'm showing you another way. Does my way work for everyone? No, of course not. But it's a different way. And that's what you need. You need a different approach to your weight that is not a diet, surgery, or medicine. Okay. And that's what I'm trying to offer you. And that's why I say, go to my bio, click the link at the hypnosis session. And then as soon as you sign up for that, I give you a training, 3 steps to master your weight. It's about a half hour, but it's about the mindset approach. It's a different way to approach this. That's what you need. You need a different approach. Because I know in your head, you're like, oh, I know what to do, Jim. I just got to get myself to do it. And this is the year. This is the year. This is the year I'm really going to get myself to do it. Get yourself to do what, man? To what? To not eat any carbs? Like to do keto for the 50th time where it doesn't work? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I love people. And it's just, but one of our limitations is that we tend to do the same shit over and over, even if it don't work. Right? I mean, you're 30, 40 years into this, it's still not working. Right? But what are you going to do? Oh my God, did you sign up for Weight Watchers again? Is that the plan? Holy shit. What are you going to try and do keto again starting Monday? Oh, I mean, Tuesday, right? Give me a break, God damn. I'm not saying it doesn't work for anybody because everything works for some people. There's 8 billion people on the planet, right? There's always outliers that are going to successfully lose weight with whatever crazy plan. Okay. But keto's one of them. Oh yeah. But I don't know. I lost a lot of weight. Okay. Yeah. What, for the first week, the first month? How you doing? How long you been at it? That's my question to keto people. First question. How long you been doing it? A month. I lost 20 pounds. Yeah. A month. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't give a shit about a month weight loss. Up or down, I don't give a fuck. It don't matter to me. I don't care about a month. I care about a year. I care about a decade. I care about forever. And the statistics are pretty clear with keto that even if it helps you lose weight, and there's no question that it can help you lose weight, and why not, right? The number one source of calories for Americans and adult Americans is baked goods. So yeah, if you got a diet that's based on cutting down refined carbs, and that's the main source of calories for people, they're probably going to lose weight. So I'm not disputing that. What you also can't dispute though is the numbers of people that don't stick to keto plans. There's the big weakness in the keto plan is no one sticks to it long term. We're just going to ignore that part. You're going to be the one person who does? No, because you don't like it. That's why you don't do the keto plan. Do you ever think that? Do you ever think that maybe you don't want to do the keto plan because it sucks? And did you ever think maybe the way I lose weight shouldn't be something I absolutely hate? Maybe that's the problem, right? Astrid, what's up? Live on a Saturday. I know it's weird. I'm usually not here on Saturdays, but I wanted to test out. I got some new equipment going on, so I wanted to test it out because I was having issues with it. It ruined all. I did some podcasts this week. I usually post them, but the audio, everything came out weird. So they told me all this stuff to change, and so I wanted to see. So I was just doing kind of a trial just to see. Learned so much already from you. Thank you. You are welcome, Astrid. What's up, Karen? How's it going? Divine, that's so true. Yep. Divine says, I'm on a point to get a gastric sleeve. Yep. I've worked with a lot of people with the sleeve. I mean, again, it's the sleeve. I mean, I was always shocked by that because I think intuitively you're just like, oh yeah, the sleeve, that'll make them lose weight, or the bypass, that'll make them lose weight. But it's like, it does, pretty much everyone loses weight initially. But then, then the stats are, I don't know where they're at currently, but a lot of people put the weight back on, which really just proves the point that it really is a mindset thing. Because if you make your stomach this big, cut it down by 70%, and you still, have weight issues, how much clearer does it need to be that it's a mindset thing? Because they lose the weight first anyways, and then they figure out ways to keep putting food in their body. They either just graze constantly or they blend stuff. There's a lot of different strategies people will get to. Because again, if your mindset's not straight, even the surgeries, maybe not. So Divine, make sure get my stuff too. Because even if you do the gastric sleeve, okay, I'm here to be supportive. Okay. So I've had people in the program that are, on the medicines, and I've worked with a lot of people before and after with the sleeves and the bypasses. So watch my training though, because again, the sleeve isn't a cure-all is what I'm trying to say. The medicine is not a cure-all. It's not. They're tools to help you. But the main goal, the fucking only solution is to change your mindset, to learn how to think like a thin and healthy person. There's no magic pill. There's no magic surgery. You could literally even make your stomach this big and you can still be overweight. That's how powerful your mindset is. I don't know what more proof you need, So again, the surgeries and the medicines I would look at them as supplements. They don't guarantee success. The only thing that guarantees success is really transforming your mindset and mastering the things that control your weight, your mindset, your lifestyle, and your eating. Mrs. Reagan says, waking up every day and having to get through fighting not to overeat feels overwhelming. Yeah, Mrs. Reagan, I get it. I totally get it. But again, I mean, like even what you're saying, again, everything is self-hypnosis, folks, right? Because we all talk to ourselves in our head all day long, right? So Miss Riggins will say, waking up every day and having to get through fighting not to overeat feels overwhelming, right? So that is what a lot of people feel. Okay, so thank you for articulating that. But even that statement is so much negative, harmful hypnosis. Okay, because, and again, I'm not picking. I want to understand this because this is everyone. Everyone struggling with weight has these beliefs that waking up every day and having to get through fighting not to overeat feels overwhelming, right? And what that does is it just shows you that every time if you've been struggling to lose weight for decades, what happens is anytime you think about weight loss, you put yourself into a fight or flight freeze mode. It's your sympathetic nervous system. And when that happens, the blood goes from your brain down to your body because it's a fight. It's a physical thing, When you're in a fight, flight, or freeze, you're not, thinking philosophically, right? It's a very impulsive, reactive state. And so at this point, when you think about weight loss, pretty much everyone does this. When you think about weight loss, it puts you into this anxious, nervous, stress state, even just thinking about it, right? So you think about, losing weight, and subconsciously what you're saying to yourself, and that's why I'm so glad you wrote this out, wrote it out in a comment, Mrs. Riggins, is in the back of your mind, like, I should lose some weight. And then this voice in the back says, yeah, but waking every day, it's gonna be so difficult to get through every day, fighting all day not to overeat. It feels so overwhelming. I don't want to do it. That's what's happening to you. You may not be saying that exact thing, but every time you think about weight loss, there's some voice in your head that says something that's stressing you out and nerve. Let me put it this way. We all have this subconscious scale that's weighing pain and pleasure. And when you think about losing weight, This is so crazy, right? This is almost, it's hard to believe this. But when you think about losing weight, your scale goes to more pain and less pleasure in your life, which is a way to say subconsciously you're repelled from weight loss because you associate it with more pain and less pleasure. And so as long as that exists, it's going to be, weight loss is always going to be a challenge, you know? So yeah, you got to change that. How do you make it easy to get through the day? And there's a lot of strategies, because I see what you wrote down the bottom is long-term natural weight loss really possible. Most people fail. I agree with that. Most people do fail. But I was thinking today, I was like, and again, this is just my life. I've been so lucky. So I was 50 pounds heavier. I came across neurolinguistic programming, or NLP for short. And basically the idea of this is it's the science of role modeling. There's a lot of specific stuff in there, but to me, it's basically the big overarching thing is it's a science of role modeling, which is to find people that are getting the results you want. And you have to make that clear, because we tend to listen and focus on people that aren't getting the results we want, you know? So if we find people that are getting the results we want, what are they doing? How are they thinking about things? You know? And so I found people that had lost weight and kept it off. And that was almost instantly, I realized what the difference was. They thought completely different about weight loss and about health and food and all the rest of it. And so if you study people that have successfully lost weight and kept it off, you start to notice they all say the same shit. Now, they all got specific differences, right? They all eat a little different. They exercise different. They have different lifestyles. That stuff's all different and unique to them. But it's always the same core beliefs and ideas they have about food, their health, weight, time frames that they think in. All of these things are the same. And so no one ever teaches these things to you, right? Because again, listen, folks, you know who you're referencing? Subconsciously, who are you referencing when you think about weight loss? You're referencing all the big diets that you've known about in your life. Do you know all the big diets you've known about in your life are all owned by big food companies? Did you know Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz? Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. The company that owns Atkins Food Products owns the same company, owns Auntie Anne's Pretzels and Cinnabon. The company that owns Slim Fast, the same company that owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. They don't want you to lose weight. You really think they don't want you to eat their bullshit foods? Like that there's no way. So again, all they do, every weight loss, the industry is basically 100% this. It's someone telling you what to eat or how to work out. And then it's left up to you to get yourself to do it. You never learn how to get yourself to do it. You never learn the mindset piece. And you're stuck. You're flummoxed. You're a smart, intelligent person, and you can't figure it out. And you just keep looping. You keep looping with negative suggestions. You know, so again, Ms. Reagan, you highlight, I appreciate you saying this. The idea like long-term natural weight loss, is that even seems impossible? Now, of course they want you to believe that. Long-term weight loss it was the norm for millions of years. You know what I mean? It's a blip now because we live in an obesogenic environment and we don't know how to deal with it. So we have to upgrade our mental software because the environment has changed. We got our old biology, which wants, again, think about this. We evolutionarily, we were created in a food scarce environment. So all of our biology and our biochemistry and our neurology is all for a food scarce environment, so that when we see extra food, we have all these mechanisms firing off to get us to eat it, you see? And so you have got to evolve and upgrade your software, your mental software, how you think about food now. You can't rely on your biological impulses. You know, you can't just rely on these things, because your body, your mind, your hormones, all this shit is telling you to eat everything. It wants you to be overweight because it thinks we're in a food scarce environment. So you've got to upgrade your subconscious programming, and you can do it. It's not hard. You know, I help people do it all the time. You know, I've been doing this for 20 years professionally. Once you start focusing on what you're saying to yourself, do you not think what you're saying to yourself is affecting your weight? Right? If you think about weight loss and reflexively, the first thought that comes up is, oh my God, waking up every day and having to get through fighting not to overeat. It's so friggin' overwhelming, right? So you have that thought and then you have that feeling. That's your state. That state, right? When you think to yourself, oh my God, it's so overwhelming. It's so difficult. Fight against overeating all day. Holy shit, it's so overwhelming. Christ, it's so hard to eat well. Now, how do I feel, right? I feel like, oh God, no, it feels difficult. It feels hard. I feel like I don't want to do it. You see? So I don't think of it that way at all. I love the way that I eat. I love it. I love eating healthy. Now I'm in a holiday mode where I've been eating like shit for the last couple of weeks here. And I'm sick of it. I'm ready for it to end because I love eating the way that I normally eat. That keeps me at my goal weight. I feel better. I think better. I move better. I sleep better. Everything's better. And I can't wait to be that. I can't wait. And that's what my clients always say. They get back from vacation. They get back from the holiday season. And it's like, it was fun, but now I can't wait to get back to my normal routine and reality. And you say, how the fuck? Who says that? Right. But that's because the only thing you think of losing weight is you think of some extreme ass diet. Because what are you all going to do? Monday, Tuesday is going to roll around. And what are you going to do? No carbs, no sugar, 1,200 calories, counting your points, not eating for 16 hours. You're going to do some extreme shit and you're going to do it for a couple days and then you're not going to do it. And so you never fucking learn anything. You do it for a couple days, sometimes a couple weeks, once every 10 years, a couple months, and then you stop doing it and don't do anything. You never get any further. You just keep looping through that first fucking week, if that, and it's like you never learn from it. And again, I'm not blaming you because we're all hypnotic creatures. You're literally in a trance, man. It's like, that's why I say this year is so important. Look back over your weight loss. Does it not look like that? There's been a couple times when you stuck with it and got some results when you were super motivated because you had a wedding coming up or pictures or some big thing you were motivated about. And the rest of the time, you try it, you stick with it for a couple days, and you stop. And that's the loop you're really stuck in now, And if you don't think that's all because of how you're thinking, then I'm not the guy for you. Go watch the Ozempic people. I don't believe any of these capsules that help us to lose weight. Is it right? I mean, I don't know any capsules that help you lose weight. I mean, listen, Ozempic for sure. The semaglutides help some people lose weight. There's no question about it. But again, you have to understand that usually when it's working its best, it's because it's making you nauseous. Like you go and eat and you feel nauseous. So again, it's a Band-Aid. I heard a doctor describe it the best, I thought. It's like when you're taking Ozempic, you're in quicksand sinking and someone throws you a shovel so you don't sink as quick. It's not a solution. It's not a long-term solution. I don't think, Helen says, it's literally so hard for me to start. Like, do you practice at first or do you just start on Monday? How do you practice? Yeah, it's a great question, Helen. There's a lot of ways to practice. The strategy I always suggest to people is the worst and first strategy. Okay. So what that means is you pick your worst eating habit that you have, right? Eating at night, eating too much at dinner, snacking in the afternoon, whatever it is, the worst habit, you focus on that, and your first eating of the day, breakfast, lunch, whenever your first meal of the day is. So the worst habit, you focus on making some headway with that. And then the first habit, you work on making that as nutritious, as easy, and as enjoyable as you possibly can make it. Okay. So you're consistently nourishing yourself first thing in the morning, and then you're consistently working on reducing, the effects of your worst eating habit. Now, again, it doesn't mean you have to stop your worst eating habit. It means that you have the 3 R's of weight loss. You can reduce, replace, remove. Most people just want to remove. Okay. So this is how you make it easier. Again, you've been sold this fucking bullshit by the diet industry. You're going to jump in on day one being perfect. Think about how crazy this is. The idea that, especially now, I love the January 1st one's my favorite one because you've been the last 5-6 weeks, you've been, oh my God, right? You've fucking eating sugar, carbs, drinking, partying it up. And then all of a sudden, bam, January 1 comes and what? You're going to start the next day with no sugar, no carbs, 1,200 calories, not eating for 16 hours. You go right into it. Maybe the first day. I always use it metaphorically. It's like if you never played the piano and you're like, I want to play, I want to get good fast. I'm going to play 10 hours a day. Wow. That sounds very impressive. Can I come by the second day and see you? Because yeah, you make it through the first day and you won't. But even if you did, the second day you wake up, your fingers are like this. You hate the piano. You ain't practicing 10 hours the second day. And even if somehow you were able to get the second day, you ain't practicing the third day, but that's what you're doing to yourself with the weight loss is you're starting off, you're all or nothing, right? And so you're going from nothing to all, and it's so overwhelming that you can't stick with it. And then you have the gall to say, it's because I'm not consistent. Is it because you're not consistent or because you got an asshole strategy of trying to do something perfectly just because I'm going to do a perfect start tomorrow? Just because you think you're going to do it perfect, that makes no fucking sense. What can you just do day one and be perfect at it? Like it's so weird. And it just reveals that there is a complete and total lack of strategy when it comes to your weight loss, because every diet that you're referencing subconsciously is a tactic. You don't know this because you don't think about this stuff this way, but every diet, the diets are all just marketing. It's all just marketing. And it's like a carnival game because they know what they're selling you is difficult, right? Weight loss is challenging. And so it's like a carnival game, because if you ever do the carnival game thing, like where they like, look, it's so easy. I'm a sucker for the big wicker basket with the big softball thing. And you're walking by, the guy's flipping behind his back. He's do this. It always goes in the basket. And you say, shit, I can do that. And you go and you throw it really light and it bounces out, right? That's what dieting is. Their goal is to try and make it seem as simple as possible. And it's not, though. And so if you notice it, every diet is one thing. It's the one thing tactic. And so Weight Watchers, you're just going to count your points. Keto, you're just going to get rid of carbs. Intermittent fasting, you're just going to stop eating for 16 hours. Most diets, I'm just going to do 1,200 calories. I'm just going to cut out sugar. It's always one thing. I can promise you, you're not just one thing away from living at your goal weight and being a thin and healthy person for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And thinking about it that way is just, it's asshole. Like I mean, come on. Think about this. Your weight you need a holistic, comprehensive solution. I'm sorry if that sounds overwhelming to you. Okay. If it's too overwhelming for you to think that way, then go back to Weight Watchers. Stop eating carbs. That's all you need to do. That ought to solve it, because if you don't think your mindset has anything to do with it, you don't think your moods have anything to do with your weight, right? Like, what the fuck? You've been with yourself for all these years. Don't you know the problem isn't that you don't know you shouldn't eat the ice cream? It's that you get into a mood and you don't give a shit if you eat the ice cream. Don't you realize that's the problem? You have no strategy at all with how to deal with yourself, how to change what you're thinking, how to change how you feel, how to genuinely change your behavior. So how do you practice? You practice, it's like anything else. You start small. If I want to play the piano, I'm not going to play 10 hours a day. I'm going to play 15 minutes. I'm going to start to learn where the notes are. I'm going to learn some chords. I'm going to learn some scales. I'll learn a couple songs, some melodies, some simple stuff. Simple things. Keep it easy. Make it easy to be consistent. Because again, all you dieters, you value intensity over consistency. The Program Yourself Thin people value consistency over intensity. And that's a big shift. Because once you're consistent, magical things start happening, because then you're able to start creating a strategy and a plan that works for you. The Bridal Edit. Do you do one-on-one coaching? I need help staying accountable. Like you said, I know how to diet. The Bridal Edit. Yeah, I can't stay consistent. That's my main problem. It's not your main problem. I want you to know that it is your problem. Like the main problem you all have is that you can't stay consistent, but that problem is not, it's not you. It is and it isn't. Like, it's not that it's like there's something wrong with you, like you don't have the willpower to be consistent. That's not the problem. The problem is you don't have a good strategy. You don't have a strategy that's customized to you, a strategy that works for you, that makes it easy to be consistent and fun to be consistent. You need to think about this process. Again, it is a process of practicing where you're becoming another version of yourself. No one thinks of that. People think they're going to be the same person. They're just going to eat different. You're not. You need to transform yourself from the inside out into the person you want to be. Right? You don't even have that paradigm, but I do one-on-one coaching, but I mean, and again, I know where you're at, so I don't make this presupposition, but it's $25,000 to work with me privately, which is, it's not for most people. Again, I don't even do much of it. I a few people I work with, it's really more kind of like celebrity, super successful people. But here's the thing, you can work with me one-on-one. It's in a group, and that's the right solution for a lot of people. And so until probably the first week of January, you can still get that, for a discount. So if you go to my bio, click on the link at the hypnosis session, watch the training. After the training, I talk about that program, and you can get that special offer still. So that's still there. But that's what I suggest, because in the program, we have group coaching calls twice a week. So in that sense, it's crazy. So I got people get on there, all the calls, and that's the most value that I can offer you. If I can work with you directly, that's the most value that I can offer you, because again, the program's here. I'm always trying to codify things. The program's awesome. I deliver it through the phone, so it's easy. So it's like, you start on day one, it's like you're listening to a 5-minute hypnosis session in the morning, right? So there's 3 main components of the program. The first one is every day you get a 5-minute hypnosis session in the morning. You listen to that. Each one of them's got a mantra in it. You listen to that, you relax, calm yourself down. You start thinking like a thin, healthy person. Then you go about your day. The second part is the Program Yourself Thin technique, which is a 1-2 minute hypnosis technique you use on yourself. You've got to learn how to run your own mind, guys. There's just no way around it. You've got to learn how to program your subconscious mind. That is the secret sauce to all of this. Okay. I have helped people lose weight just doing hypnosis on them, but there is no question the people that get the best results, the longest lasting results, that are the best at this whole process are the people that know how to run their own mind. That's what the Program Yourself Thin technique does. And then there's the Weight Mastery Blueprints, mindset, lifestyle, eating blueprints. It takes about an hour or so. You fill these out based on you. You're a unique person. You need a unique customized plan for you. And this weight mastery blueprints really become your living, breathing document that you follow, tweak, optimize to get to and then live at your goal weight. Right. So that's the core of the program. There's more things than that, but that's the core of it. And then I work with you every week, day in and day out. So yeah, the accountability, but more important than accountability is my ability to kind of peer into your subconscious mind and find the limiting beliefs you have, because they're plain as day to me, and then watching me work with other people as well is hugely helpful. So go check that out. And if you have questions about it, you can shoot me a message. You can always message me at jim@programyourselfthin.com or through TikTok. Maggie says, when doing keto, the first time you start eating bread carbs, you gain the weight back really fast. Yeah, of course. Right. And you always start eating it again. Because who wants to be the fucking weirdo? You want to go to your cousin's birthday party, you're not going to eat any cake? Just stand there like a doofus? You can do that a couple times. I mean, come on, let's be honest, right? Is that the life you want? And I'm not judging it. I'm not judging it. But I'm being honest with you. I'm talking to you who struggles with the keto. It isn't part of it that you don't want to go through life never eating grains, never eating some carbs. That cannot be. I'm not saying no one wants to live that way, because I know some people do, but I don't. The fastest way to throw me off my weight mastery is to tell me I can't eat carbs ever again. I'd be eating carbs by the end of the hour. By the way, over restricting tends to lead to overconsumption. Just so you know, you're not a crazy person. Everyone responds that way. What's up, Kaz? Frida says, after losing 50 pounds, I've had a bad Xmas eating. Now I feel I've failed. How do I reset? You have not failed. You've not failed. It's complete. I wish you were in my program, because we took the holidays and we enjoyed ourselves. We call it vacation mode, holiday mode. And what we do, this is a phrase we like to use. We want to minimize the damage, right? Because again, you have to assume that you have a diet or mindset where you're all or nothing in terms of your thinking. And that all or nothing thinking is so toxic. What you need to be is all or something. Okay. So when we go into the holidays, when we go into vacation mode, we're all or something, more something than all. So we're eating, I've been eating lots of cookies, ice cream, bullshit, just eating bullshit like everyone else, but I'm still drinking my water. I'm still trying to eat some fruit when I can. I'm still going for walks when I can. I'm still sleeping, as much as I can. So I got all these other lifestyle habits that are there. So I feel like I always have this net, this foundation, that's a game changer. So Frida, no, you're not a failure. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. That's why that thinking though sabotages more people than anything, right? You lose 50 fucking pounds and then you get whatever, let's just say 2-3 weeks of bad eating. And now you feel like a failure, right? It doesn't make any logical sense. If you had a friend that was in the exact same situation, you were talking to them, would you say they were a failure? Of course not, right? But when it comes to ourselves, we're the meanest with ourselves, but you're a success. And then eating during Christmas, it's not even bad Xmas eating. I wish you could look at it as pleasure. See, in Program Yourself Thin, we have 5 days of clean eating and 2 days of pleasure eating. So we have this concept of pleasure eating. So that's a weekly thing we do all year round. But then the holidays come up and it's kind of like December in and of itself is kind of like 3 weeks of good eating, 1 or 2 weeks of pleasure eating. And again, so it's not a bad thing. That's you living your life. And that in reality is the sweet spot. Enjoy the hell out of your Christmas eating and then know you're going to get back on track in January. And again, I don't know if you're at your goal weight where you want to be or if you're going to get back on it where you want to go. But let me share with you this. This is very important. Please, Frida, please go to my bio, click the link and get the hypnosis session I give you. And please watch the training, because this is very important for you. Because I was just talking, I don't know if you were here for this, is that people pretty much have an overweight mindset and a diet mindset. And you've sounding like a little bit, you probably dieted yourself down 50 pounds, but you still got an overweight mindset, which is you feeling like you failed, and a diet mindset. And so again, what you need to do is you need to start creating a thin and healthy mindset. All right. And you want to do it now. Okay. There's no big deal. So again, when I talk about a lot of people want to lose weight, I want you to master your weight. And the most important skill of mastering your weight is the ability to get back on track quickly. Because this is what I'm trying to say. This is the all or something thing. There is never going to be a year where you eat perfectly. There is no eating perfectly on a long time scale. Okay. So we don't want to aim at perfection as being the goal. We want to look at overall as healthy as we can make it being the goal. And that requires the most important piece is that we're going to make mistakes with our eating sometimes. We won't be able to get back on track quickly. All right. So I wish you the best with this. Please look into the program. Okay. Because again, you're at that place. Losing the weight and keeping it off are two totally different things. With Program Yourself Thin, we start with maintenance because that is the goal. The goal is to live at your goal weight, right? So we start right from the beginning. What's the self-image you want to have? Who do you want to be? Right? It's not just about the weight loss. It's who's the best Frida possible. That's what the goal is. One aspect of that's your weight, but there's more things than that. It's you being the best version of yourself possible, right? And you getting right back on track at the new year. There's no stronger message you could send to your subconscious mind that, holy shit, it's a new game in town, because even the 50 pounds isn't doing it. What's going to do it more than anything for you is now you get off track with your eating at Christmas and you get right back on track. That's the strongest message you could send your subconscious mind to thrive and to really, really make changes long-term. Right? So great job. It says, I'm learning so much. I'm glad. Again, that's why I get on here and do this. And it's funny. I've been pulled off last couple of weeks here. So it's nice to be back a little bit, even though I was just doing this for 5 minutes, but here I am. Right. Thoughts on intermittent fasting for women. I like intermittent fasting. I do it. But I do like 13, 14 hours. I'm not, the 16-hour thing is bullshit. You don't have to do 16 hours. You can work your way up to it, is what I did. So I think that, I think taking a break from eating is wonderful, and I think that the way I approached it, I've been doing it for 30 years before there was intermittent fasting, but my first habit I worked on was my nighttime snacking. And so I wanted to create a bigger window of time between when I went to bed and when I stopped eating. And so, I used to eat right up till bedtime pretty much. And so I made that window longer till now. I usually stop eating 6, 7 o'clock at night, start eating 7 or 8 o'clock on average. Okay. So I think it's great though. I think give your body a break and all the rest of it, but you can also work up to it. You don't have to intermittent fast every single night either. You probably know that. Do you worship Satan or any demonic entities? And would you ever lie to us? Never worship Satan. Nope. I tell myself when I start dieting, I'm eventually going to fail. And that's the loop I'm stuck in. Yeah. Bridal effect. Yeah. Bridal edit. Yeah, exactly. Most dieters think that now. And why wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? Like honestly, again, most of my clients are intelligent, smart women in their mid 40s, 50s, 60s. And what happens is you've tried all the diets. They haven't worked. Or you know what's even worse than them not working is when they do work. There's nothing worse than when the diet works and then you put all the weight back on. Most people can only handle a couple times of that before they create the belief that you have now. And this is where the apathy comes in, because now you feel powerless because you tell yourself, no matter what I do, I can't keep the weight off. But specifically what's going on is it's no matter what diet, because the diets are all short-term fixes. They're not built for long-term solutions. And your subconscious mind knows this. And so to be honest, it's trying to protect you because it's saying, you know what? The diets don't work. They don't work. The diets don't work unless you transform how you're thinking and feeling inside. And they don't teach you that. So it would have to be some spontaneous thing that magically happened. So the diets don't work. Your subconscious mind knows this. And now it's saying, listen, let's just cut the shit. They don't work. So let's just skip the bullshit. And now it's like, not only we're not going to lose the weight, but I'm going to go through the pain of losing it and then the disappointment of putting it back on. This is awful. And now you get in this place. This is how you know that you're ready for the Program Yourself 10 course, is that you're thinking about weight loss 24 hours a day, but you're not making any of it happen. Like you're not actually losing any weight, right? You're stuck in that loop. Right? Where you want to lose weight, but you don't believe you can do it. And the reason you don't believe you can do it is because you're only looking at diets and diets don't work. You need this mindset piece. You need a customized solution. You need a holistic one that includes a healthier lifestyle, a better supportive mindset, and obviously getting the eating down. But you've never focused, like all the dieters, all they do is just focus on cutting calories. It's always a food thing. That's all they focus on. I'm always talk about the weight mastery pyramid to convey the importance with shapes. So the bottom foundational piece is mindset. The next piece is lifestyle. And then the top one's eating. How are you working on your lifestyle and mindset in a structured, strategic way? I know you're not. You know what I mean? So again, don't think that you can't do it. Understand that you've never been shown how to do it. I wouldn't have either. If I hadn't been exposed to the things that I learned, I would have been flailing and struggling like everyone else, trying the diets. But I was able to learn some really important things and figure out what works. And that's what I help people with. Do you worship this guy? Neely says 100,000%. Yep. What's a healthy mindset to develop for the little things that add up like candies or alcohol? Because it's easy to convince myself not to have pizza or cake, but the little things, phew. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Naya. You take what you're currently programming as little things and you start blowing them up. You know what I mean? That's part of the programming. This is listen, folks, what you're doing is, and again, this really isn't your fault. This is the culture we live in. But the food industry and all the commercials you see, you're always subconsciously, you're constantly minimizing the damage and the effects of the food on you. And you're maximizing, how hard it is to do it. Right. And you're always doing this subconsciously. So, we can control when we maximize. So cigarettes are an example of this, right? So cigarettes, for a long time, the cigarette industries were intentionally trying to confuse us and minimize what the damage of cigarettes were. And eventually it kind of got out, the studies, and then there was a lot of advertising and marketing showing how bad cigarettes were. And so that's a great example of, originally we were minimizing the effects of smoking and everyone was smoking. And then we started to really maximize what the effects of smoking were and everyone kind of stopped smoking. I'm overstating things, but you get the idea. And so once you take control of that process, you can look at things like candies or alcohol and you can make them bigger subconsciously. So you want to avoid them, So I know it's not easy to do for what I'm saying, but that's what I help people with. Neely says, did you say 25K? Yes, I did. I did say 25K. Because again, listen, let me just talk that real quick. Cause there's a lesson to be learned there, and weight and money are actually very, very similar. They really are, because they're both means to an end. You think you want weight, you think you want lots of money. You don't. You want to be able to control your weight in a sustainable, comfortable, enjoyable way. You want to be able to make money and have all the money you want, in a way that resonates with your person, your lifestyle and all the rest of it. So anyways, but 25K, I know that sounds like a lot, but to people that make a real lot of money, it's not, money's relative. And so, it's an opportunity. There's other way to look. I know it sounds like a salesy bullshit, but it really is an opportunity for people that have that level of money. And even my program, right now it's $1,000 to work me for 8 weeks. I don't know where that lands. Again, for some people, it's holy shit. That's a lot of money. For some people, it's a middle amount of money. Some people, it's nothing. It wouldn't matter to them. I've had people join the program for $1,000. They never come to any of the calls, never do anything. So again, money is a relative thing, which again is a lesson where if you want to make more money, you may want to work on your mindset there too. You know what I mean? But yeah, 25K, what happens if someone's, got a decent amount of money and they want to really make a big investment? Because think about it, how would you go to college, right? Shit, my daughter's going to college. It's at $88,000, So it's like there's huge numbers for different things. And it's all based on the value you give, right? So $25,000 may sound like a lot for personal coaching to master your weight. But if I said, hey, I got a summer house on the beach that I'll sell you for $25,000, it's a mansion, it's beautiful. I'll figure it out. I'll get that money, right? So money is all relative too. Just a little lesson there. Who wants to be a weirdo? Yeah, right? No, and that's a good point too. No one wants to be a weirdo. Like eating healthy makes you weird. That's a whole other thing. I've finally been consistent on my eating plan. Been like a week. That's okay, Julian. That's all right. It all starts with a week, and it's not about being consistent. Don't look at your eating well or your weight loss like a streak. Okay. Look at it like, holy shit, I had a week. That was pretty good. How'd I do it? What was going on there? Oh, I was calm. I was focused. I was motivated. I made it easy. I went to the store and had things prepped. Tony Robbins always says, I don't know where he got this, but success leaves clues. So when you have a good week, don't look at it like, oh shit, hope I can keep this up for another week. Don't look at it that way. Start to look at, how did I do this? Wow. Oh, I see. I was motivated. I was focused. I did this. And start to analyze what worked for you. No one does this. So great job, Julian. That's awesome. Isn't there a major addictive component? Yeah, of course there's a major addictive component. Food's addictive, no doubt about it. Food's like the core addiction, right? We're all addicted to food. We got to eat, right? And so we are really addicted to food. It's really fascinating. The food, thanks, Julian. The food psychology, biochemistry, neurology is fascinating because that was the main thing in life. We've evolved over evolutionary times. All the times we've evolved, food was the main thing practically. Food, sex, survival, And so food was a big one. So yeah, now there's foods that are hyper palatable, that are literally concentrated drug-like substances. So yes, there is an addiction part of this. But what I always say about addiction is, listen, you can look at heroin addicts, the most addictive substance on the planet, heroin, tobacco, alcohol, cocaine, take the most things we think are the most addictive. And every year people stop doing those substances. How? What changes? Their genetics don't change. Their brains don't change. Their biochemistry didn't change. Their mindset changed. They thought about it differently somehow. And now that they're not doing it. I know I'm simplifying things, but you can't disagree that I love studying former drug addicts. I'm obsessed with that because what's changing? It's the same person. All the things they're telling us that are leading the disease, they snap themselves out of the disease. I know I'm making it simpler. I don't know how to make that happen necessarily to someone, But we can look at everyone who's become a reformed drug user, drug addict. What changed? The way they thought about things, right? Because we've seen people, they're so drug addicted, they almost die and they keep using drugs. So there's no actual event that can make it happen. But everyone that gets off of drugs, it's the same story, that something's flipped in them. The way they thought about the drug, something shifted and it shifted. So it's the same thing with food. I'm not on keto, but when I eat carbs, it's so much more difficult to stick to the diet. It's like a drug. Yeah, that's kind of true. But the other side of that, folks, for all you keto people that always say that it's like, it's all or nothing, right? But it's like, have you ever really, really focused on how can you manage carbs? So a lot of people don't actually do that. Is it concerning that I lost 60 pounds unintentionally? That's a lot of weight. I would definitely go to the doctor and get checked out. It would be my suggestion. A post-holiday meal walk with family is great for bonding and feels great. Yeah, absolutely, Naya, for sure. Do you believe in that stupid set point thing? Paul, I think the set point thing is more of a mindset, personally. There is a reality. There is a physical reality, but it's this, that your body really wants to keep you where you're most comfortable. And that's a relative number and situation. I do believe this is why weight loss really is an inside out approach. I think your weight is a physical projection of your mental self. I think if you're overweight, it's because you think of yourself as an overweight person. And so I think that it's really important that you shift up how you think about yourself, because I think that, yeah, you gotta, if you want to be thin and healthy, you gotta think of yourself as a thin and healthy person. And you don't, if you struggle with your weight, you don't think of yourself as a thin and healthy person. Another great sweatshirt. Yeah, it is actually. This is a new one. It's wicked nice. Filson, it's really nice. I'm 25 and I've struggled with my self-esteem and weight for a long time. I've been told by my parents my whole life that I'm fat and need to lose weight, even though during that time I was slightly overweight. Yeah, parents can do a number on us, and that's part of what we got to deal with, because a lot of times if you're struggling with your weight, you got this internal dialogue, which is some form of your parents that you've internalized now. And so you're just constantly torturing yourself. And that mental dialogue is keeping you stuck overweight, because you're stuck in that dialogue between your mom or your parents. I'm not going to go into the explain. We talk about this transactional analysis. You have different voices in your head. You have a parent, a child, and an adult, but you don't have an adult. Most people don't have an adult voice. That's what in Program Yourself Thin we work to develop. So yeah, the bridal edit, you need to create a new internal dialogue, something that's more supportive. You need to have a goal weight that's congruent, because right now what's happening, and this is common, that you have this idea of a goal weight that's from really like your parents, but then you as a child, you're resisting that because you're pissed off that they wouldn't show you love unless you were at that weight. So now you're incongruent. You want to be at that weight, but you also don't want to be at that weight because your parents should love you unconditionally no matter what your weight is. And so in a weird way, you're kind of rebelling against that. I'm just guessing. But that's the type, when you start thinking that way, things reveal itself very quickly, and then you can resolve them, Yeah, Don says, try cutting the amount of times you eat a day. Jim will say scheduled eating. That's right. Honey darling, good morning. It really does work, people. Highest I was 109 kilograms, now 90 kilograms. Good job. Good job, honey darling. Neely, yeah, I make 50K a year. So only for the rich. Yeah, the private coaching is only for the rich. What can I tell you? But I will say this, that, I've been doing private coaching for a number of years. Last year, I had that exact thought. I sat down and I was like, okay, I love working with these people, but I want to be able to help more people. And this is where I got on TikTok and I started doing a lot of social stuff. I give more things away for free than anyone. And so I call this kind of the Robin Hood model, where yes, a lot of people pay me huge money, but that allows me to do a lot of free things. And then I started my group coaching program, which again, it's $1,000. But you get to work with me one-on-one. And I think, again, value is relative. So it's like, you're getting this $25,000 coaching. I mean, it's not exact, it's not private like with you and stuff, but it's every, you can get on twice a week and I'm right there on Zoom working with you, and the first, I spend a lot of time with you. You know what I mean? I really do. So that's the deal of a lifetime. And even 50 grand, you can do that. And so if you get to, you invest $1,000 in your weight mastery, you take it seriously, you show up typically. And that's the point, it's an investment in yourself. And I've invested well over 100 grand in myself for different things. Best money I've ever spent. I find with the weight loss, I don't know, like again, when you get medicine, shit, what's the medicine? That's $1,000, $2,000 a month. Surgeries are expensive. Some diets are pretty expensive and you're never really learning anything, So I don't know, like I could tell you, I give you a testimony after testimony of people that think it's a great value. My number one issue is sugar. So afraid of the withdrawal from with how much I'm accustomed myself to. Christina, no, your number one issue is always mindset. Okay. It's always mindset, not the sugar. It's your mindset with the sugar, so afraid of the withdrawal. Okay. So listen here, if you're so afraid of withdrawal, then withdraw slowly. You know what I mean? Like, again, the 3 hours of weight loss: reduce, replace, remove. Most dieters can only think about remove because they're just obsessed with fast results, but if you replace, reduce, that might, because Christina, this is why I'm saying your mindset, because like you're saying it right there. My number one issue is sugar. So afraid of the withdrawal. You know what I mean? And so this is what I'm trying to say. Like, I got to stop eating so much sugar. But then this voice comes and says, yeah, but oh my God, the withdrawal's gonna be horrible. And it's like, it doesn't have to be. Oh, I got to quit cold turkey. Why? If you're terrified of the withdrawal, then why do you have to just stop instantly? Oh, I can't. It's all or nothing for me. Well, all or nothing for you. Why is it all or nothing for you? That shit hasn't worked for you ever. So why do you keep saying it's all or nothing for me? Have you really committed to all or something? Could you really commit to reducing for a week, cutting the sugar down by 20% this week, 20% the next week, 20% the week after that, then stopping? No, I'm all or nothing. Okay. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, again, people are just walking around. You're in like these trances. You're seeing this with what people are writing. I appreciate you guys writing this stuff because it's like, these are the things you're thinking. This is why you can't move forward. I want to lose weight, but oh my God, I can't fight against eating all day long. I got work coming up. I can't fight again. Right. So the way you're thinking about it is stopping you right in your tracks. And that's it in a nutshell, folks. That's it in a nutshell. You couldn't want to lose weight more than you do. You think about it constantly, but you're subconsciously incongruent. Subconsciously, you do not want to lose weight because you think it's going to be horrible, overwhelming, tiring, exhausting. You're scared of it. I'm afraid. This is the stuff that's controlling it. Now I'm obese. I gained a lot of weight during COVID, about 80 pounds. I lost 35 pounds this year. Hey, great job, Bridal Effect. Nice job. I love transactional analysis. Don't hear about it much anymore. I know. Yeah, exactly. I like it. I'm a huge fan of the 70s. NLP is my core, my main thing. I think there's a lot of great stuff there. Does it all hold up? No, but I think there's a lot of great stuff from back then, that's really helpful. And that's really what defines what I do is I just study everything and I take the things that work and I discard the rest. And I find the transactional analysis of breaking up the voices in those 3 categories is profoundly helpful. Because what most people have is they have a pig parent that is constantly berating their child. The child wants to lose weight and you have this pig parent. So it's like, as soon as I want to lose weight, I'm going to do well today. And you do pretty well today. Then you eat like 1 cookie. And then the pig parent goes, look what you did. See, you fucked up again, you loser. You never, just mean. Right now, this kid just shrinks away and does nothing. You're seeing it in the words when people write stuff. They're like, the child goes, I think I'm going to stop eating sugar. Oh yeah. How you deal with the withdrawal and the cravings? It's going to kill you. You're not going to be able to handle it, or it's like, I think I want to lose weight. Oh yeah. But how are you going to fight against the eating? You're going to be so overwhelmed and it's going to be so crazy for you. You're not gonna be able to do it. Right. And this is your internal dialogue now. This is why you can't get yourself to do anything. So a big program yourself in is really developing that adult voice. I call mine my coach voice. I found it today. I was doing something. I was working on something. I was like, yeah, you fucking loser. That's what I said to myself. I heard that in my voice. And then there's a coach voice says, you're not a loser. Like, but it's like, you're walking around in trances with these negative internal dialogues, these negative internal hypnosis sessions you're doing to yourself and you don't even realize it. That's what needs to change. Just be dead honest with you, straight with you. Yeah. Anyone with great success usually pays for support. True story. I agree. Have you been overweight? Yeah, I was 50 pounds overweight. I always say that to my story, yeah, I lost 50 pounds. That's great. But the main part of my story I focus on is that I kept it off for 30 years. I one little blip 12 years ago, but that's the key part, folks. The weight loss doesn't matter. Stop being impressed by people's weight loss and make sure you look to see how long they've kept it off and only learn from the people who have kept it off long-term. That's the game changer thought. So his program's 100% worth it and you have it forever. Changed my life and thinking. Thank you, Karen. Yep, Karen's killing it. Karen's doing awesome with it. And again, these are people that going through the holidays. I don't. Marcy's not here, but she went on a cruise. She actually lost weight on a yacht on a cruise. I was like, wow, holy shit. So again, notice these people in the program. It's like they've gone through the holidays and they've eaten well, but now they're fine. they're comfortable with it. This is what I'm trying to say. It's like you have to realize your diet mode is very anxious and stressful and nervous and all this unpleasant energy. And it doesn't have to be that way. But you just automatically, when you think about weight loss, you automatically trigger your anxiety and your stress and your tension and your overwhelm. Do you realize that? You never go into your weight loss being like, oh, this is going to be so nice. I'm going to feel more relaxed and calm. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to look better. I'm going to be better. Everything's going to get better. I can't wait to really like get my eating down. I want to feel nourished. I want to feel good about myself inside and out. This is going to be awesome. Is that how you start your weight loss? No, you're a nervous wreck starting it. You recommend any books? Oh my goodness. Yeah, books. There's just so many books. Like I don't know what kind of book you're looking for, but I think some good books. The books I always recommend in these places, keep it more food related, like The End of Overeating, Salt, Sugar, Fat, Ultra Processed People. These are pretty good books, I think, just give you a insight into the foods we're eating, and then mindset wise, I got my book coming. So that's going to be a book I'll recommend. But I would say even before the books, I'd go watch the training I give you guys. So if you go over to yeah, what am I saying? Yeah, there's a lot of books. I listened to my calm self is thin and healthy last night again. So relaxing. Yeah, that's one of them, right? So that's one of the core mantras. So again, in the program, there's a lot of different ones. All right, I got to get out of here. I was only going to be here for 5 minutes. What am I doing? But I'll catch you all next week. Will I be here tomorrow? Probably not. But Monday I'll be here. So let's go. Let's kick it off Monday, right? Let's get going. Let's make this the year. But enjoy yourself in the meantime. All right. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time so that when Monday comes, you're kind of ready for things. All right. Oh, thanks, Karen. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I can't wait to get this book ready to go. All right, everyone. Have a super duper day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.